Thank you guys so much for 4,000 subscribers. If you subscribe right now, I could hit 5,000 off this one video. It'd be really funny. Anyways, yay. Now, he was obviously one of the best players to play the game back when he was on Optic. However, for the past 3 years, he's had a lot, and I do mean a lot of issues. However, in this game, granted against 2G, but in this game, he probably had the best performance since leaving Optic. And he dominated on the Cypher role here, doing some great lurks. I mean, truly, he had some very impressive lurks, but he was also able to just show off the aim. He got an ace. I believe got an ace on Bleed. This is the second ace for him in 3 years. So go ahead, subscribe, and let's break down how he was able to do this. And I honestly think the biggest difference maker was that he looked comfortable on his role. When he was playing some of those funky, like Chamber on Pearl comps, he didn't look very comfortable in what he was being asked to do. Now, first off, I want to congratulate Icy. He played probably the best Waylay I think I've seen in terms of getting impact from the utility. I know PaperX, video coming on them later, have played some Waylay and gotten kills, but it was mostly aim stuff. Icy actually had some interesting techniques. He'll dash in your face with a shorty. But look at Ye here. He's comfortable sitting right here, not over-aggressing, understanding that his role here is wait and try and get a lurk so that a lurk kill, lurk timing, and it will end up, as you see, the Icy kill, and it will end up actually winning them this round. As you can see here, Ye, he takes his time. He gets over, and he has a great timing here, but what makes it even better is when EG then call for the rotate here. Now, it does end up leaving Icy pretty much stranded on site, but Ye now has an insane timing, and he is completely ready as 2G waste utility on the A site. 2v2, and Ye, as long as he doesn't whiff here, you can get numbers and probably win the round. Nature has a Bulldog, you have that Sheriff, and as you can see here, boom. LZ was not ready for him, right? And there is a bit of an issue here where he kind of gets timing from behind because he thinks that the other player went through B and is in this area right here. Nature ends up winning out a very good clutch, but again, right there, that's comfort on an agent, and that really is what he's been lacking. You've thrown him onto agents like Viper, Demon One, where you've just not had any comfort on the agent. He looks lost, and he looked like he understood what he was supposed to do this game, and I think that was one of the bigger things that made a difference and made it to where he was able to match MVP, not only this game, but this match. And another thing that is so valuable is his presence and the threat of a Ye lurk. Let me explain. So in an earlier round, he got a kill in Garage here, forcing the trip to come out. Now, it forced them, and let's go back here, into completely changing up their defensive setup to playing no 1B, right? And then 2C, 1 Garage, and doing a little trap play on A. For the record, I do like 2G's comp. I think that it's decent. I like EG's better, but I don't think 2G's comp necessarily through this game. They were honestly really, really close to winning, and it was pretty encouraging for them, especially for how bad their results have been. I mean, they're going back to challengers, right? Not really another way to put it, but it is nice to see them improve and not just roll over as kind of everyone expected them to against even a team like EG. But again, the threat of a lurk oftentimes is more powerful than a lurk itself. And that's why when you're playing against someone like Nats, when you're playing against like Benji Fishy, someone who you know this guy's going to lurk, that paranoia that it sets in you is worth so much. And it just really, really helps. Now, Ye isn't able to get any kills here, but again, he's done his role. He's made them scared. Cypher's holding front B as they're thinking they're going A, but he wants to make sure, hey, no lurk. I have a trip here, but I want to make sure no lurk. I have my cam. He just checked the cam. Like, he is paranoid. Oh my goodness, Ye is going to lurk into here and then win the round. Ye doesn't win the round. It's actually Nature here with some nasty shots. It was actually beautiful what he's done. I think he's been pretty underrated, honestly, by the community just because he's on EG, which, you know, fair enough. I don't think EG players get kind of fairly rated just because the org is thought of as being so terrible. But the shots here were actually nasty. If you'll look when they show this, it was hot. I love Recon Phantom, and it was just really, really good shots. Hey, you may or may not know, but I was signed to an org, and we are currently fighting for our life and relegation. I'll be streaming it at 3 p.m. Central Time today, so please come check us out as we fight for our Tier 2 lives. And check out some of the merch at akikimori.com. Use code LIONS for 20% off. It's genuinely, I think, some of the best looking merch in esports that you can actually wear outside without being embarrassed. So thank you guys so much for 4K. go ahead and check out HakikiMori.com. Again, that's code LIONZ, LIONZ. Will be in the pinned comment, and let's get back to the video. EG also are just able to pull rotations so well with this comp. Now, I wouldn't really credit that to the Waylay necessarily. I think Jet would do around the same as what they're doing. But when Zap is unloading ults that get no value on the eco round right here, you do get a tag. But when you're not able to get a kill, which is the point of popping that, it definitely ends up being an issue. Especially because now, look at this entire setup. They have a Cam B, they have the Trip Garage. Ye is still going to get a kill here, as everyone else is working on B. And 2G think the hit is coming on to A, because it is, right? We're going to have the little Waylay refract. He goes back. Nature tries to get a kill. Omen Pernor, like, this is good stuff. Omen then just dies to Ye here, who's been waiting out here the entire time. And again, I talked about it before. I'll talk about it again. The paranoia of having a lurker who's been able to get theirs every single time. You don't know where he'll be. He might be in garage. He might be on B. He might be with his team. But, nice shots from Asika there. But he's going to create that sense of, is he behind me? Is he behind me? Towards you. And then that is so damaging. I'm telling you, watch interviews of pro players after they play against someone like Nats, and you'll see, they'll talk about just the impact he has mentally because he is going to be wherever you think he's not. Ye almost single-handedly wins this round here for EG, and let me show you how. So he's lurking up on B. The hit, they're not sure where it's going to go. It looks like it could still be at B, but they've had a failed C rush earlier in the round. Ye looks, sees, okay, ISO's here, but he backed off. Let's just go into B. There's going to be an ISO on the planner in a second, so wait for that. But again, just stuff like that, the information you can gain. I know I've said it about 50 times. I'll say it 50 more. If you're comfortable on an agent, you're going to perform better. You're going to get this type of information. Just the slow map work type thing here. Nature tries to bait out the ISO ult, ends up actually still getting ISO ult. It doesn't really do too good of a job of getting away after that bait. But after he dies, bomb's still going to get planted. And then Ye does this incredible kill on the Yoru, makes it a 3v2, kills Silence, but he's still not done. 2v2. Derek needs to kill Zap, sorry. Ye gets the kill on LZ. Ye in the 1v1 here. Neural Theft online. And again, he's just too clean with it. It's very rare that a player just completely loses their aim. A player that like is a top aimer completely loses their aim. You saw it with Tense. He had issues when he was still on that duelist role, but when you switch him to controller, he's still a good controller. He has the aim, right? And I mean, look at this. These are just clean shots, right? That's an ISO with a shield. He does not care. Those were less clean shots. But just overall, very, very good work from him. And he's happy, bro. Do you think you could see him smiling on Bleed at all? Ever? And here is Ye's ace.
Potter in the pre-show talked about EG being kind of a team of last chances, second chances, that kind of thing. And there's a lot of players that are example of that. Ye one stuck into this corner, does well with his stinger to clean up this eco round, but for Icy especially, he's had his chances. Ye, he's gonna give it to us. They want an ace. He's got his chance, of course.
I've said it earlier in this very video, but I'll say it again. I think Icy has made the most use out of Waylay's abilities, like pure abilities, not just aim. And he has good ideas. As you can see here, if he just dashes out, they're ecoing, but you get the first blood. If Nature doesn't die, then it's a 5v4 and you can get out here. He doesn't, takes a fight from an odd angle, but it's just something to kind of be aware of. There have obviously been better performances in terms of just raw KD on Waylay, but I think Icy's got the most value out of her kit here. As you can see, takes the fight from that weird angle right there. Not able to get too much value out of it, but, you know, hypothetically, you know, maybe it's 6 out of 10 on the cool scale. For reference, if you subscribe, you're 15 out of 10 on the cool scale. Really big, so make sure to do that. I truly may never get why teams continue to play off-site spam. It doesn't make sense, especially when you have a Teo. Now, I'll get if you have a Teo and you had that, you know, confirmed stall for those couple of seconds, but teams that don't have a Teo playing offsite spam the big 2025 in general just seems to not work much. Now, don't get me wrong, I understand doing it once or twice, and to be fair, 2G didn't do it a lot here, But I get you want to play off Sova, you know, fine. But you need someone in an advanced position. And granted, EG did a good job of clearing them out. But you have to have something other than just, you know, Sova ult and hope that EG just sit there and take it like good boys. Like, obviously, they're going to fight you. They're not stupid. The Omen flank behind, I guess, was kind of their measure of that, but didn't work out. So 11-9 EG. 3v4 situation here after their flank dies, and there is a big problem for EG here if they want to win this round. Luckily, Ye is able to stand up to the task, be up to the task, whatever you want to say, he's doing it here. Makes it a 3v3 by killing Silence, and then in a spot where it looks almost impossible. 1v1 on 1 HP, he perseveres with the help of a trip and some whiffage by LZ. I don't know, like, look at how long this trip is on for, right? Keep in mind, this is after the Cypher nerf where it only shows up, I think, like 0.05 second or like 0.5 seconds after you get hit by it. Like, this is, I don't know how hard he whiffed on that trip, but it had to be hard for Ye to be able to do all that, clutch the round, and put EG on match point. So let's take a look at the last round here. 2G's main mistake here is handing the first blood to EG on a silver platter, sorry. Derek Overwatch watches over LZ to get the kill. Not a tough crowd. Anyways, 4v5 situation after that. You have your Hunter's Fury. You have Ye's ult, but most importantly, you've cleared out, as I think the caster showing, I don't know, I had him muted, as I believe the caster is showing, you've cleared out all of mid here. There's no possibility of a lurk that you're scared of because you've cleared grass, you've cleared middle, and now you're just kind of waiting. You're waiting for them to plant. Bomb goes down. Now you're waiting to see, hey, can we get a kill on Cypher so that Icy can get past this trip? Then Icy decides, you know what? I'm better than Cypher, so I'm going to dash over. I'm going to be elite, and then he dies. But, you know, all is good because after some kills, boom, 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 gun shoot, it'll now be a 3v2. Zap plays this about as well as he can. It ends up being a 2v1, and he, you know, good shock dart and everything. But when you're 1 HP in a 1v1, there's not really much you can do. So Superman is the superhero that EG need to pull him across the line. If you take away anything from this video, have it be number one, that Ye looks a lot more comfortable on his new role. And I think that Potter is the perfect coach to fix any former stars that maybe have had role issues and, you know, look great. And please fix Demon 1. Please subscribe. Click on one of these two videos if you like my content. Remember, watch party at 3 p.m. Central Time for my org, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.